Some things in our life are just so incredible that they simply can't be explained by mere coincidence. They seem to be meticulously planned by somebody or something beyond our perception. Today we're going to tell you about the world's 10 luckiest people. Let's get it on. Lena Paulsson. Wedding rings may normally deal in carats, not carrots, but Lena Paulsson from Sweden is celebrating after digging up her wedding ring, which she lost over 16 years ago, wrapped around a carrot. In October, as Lena was harvesting the last crop from her vegetable garden, she found a very small carrot, which she was about to throw away. However, a glint caught her eye, and she discovered her wedding ring on top of the finger-shaped vegetable. Harrison O'Keefe. When the tugboat where the 29-year-old man worked as a cook started to sink, the guy was in the bathroom and didn't manage to leave the boat in time. Luckily, he found an air pocket, where he spent 3 days in the dark with no food and only a can of Coke. He said he could hear fish eating his dead companions. A diver found him in an air bubble in the cabin 100 feet underwater. Steve Flagg. Steve Flagg grew up in an adoptive family and tried to find his birth mother for years. Later, he discovered that he had been writing her surname wrong in the search requests. A lucky coincidence brought son and mother together. After telling his story to his boss, Steve was told that his mother was working at the same chain as him, just in another store. Virginia Fike. Virginia always used the same scheme to buy lottery tickets. She based the number on her parents' anniversary and their ages at that time, divided by the year they were married. Once in 2012, she mistakenly bought 2 tickets with the same number. After the drawing, 14 people nationwide were entitled to a $1 million prize each. 2 of the winning tickets were in Virginia, and both belonged to Virginia. Tsutomu Yamaguchi. Tsutomu Yamaguchi is the only person in the world to miraculously survive both atomic bombings in Japan. He was on a business trip in Hiroshima when the first strike followed. He was about 3 kilometers away from the epicenter of the explosion. He suffered severe burns to his upper body and temporary blindness, but came back to service 3 days later, just to return to Nagasaki and catch the second deadly bombing. He died in 2010 of cancer at the age of 93. Joan Ginther. This is the mini cart shop assistant who sold the first winning ticket to Joan Ginther, which brought her $5.4 million. 10 years later, she won another $2 million. 3 years after that, $3 million more, and finally in 2018, she hit the jackpot of an incredible $10 million. Julianne Koepke. When she was just 17 on Christmas Eve 1971, she was involved in a horrific plane crash over the Amazonian rainforests. The young girl survived with just a broken collarbone and numerous scratches. She then spent 11 days alone in the jungle, among wildlife, before being saved by local lumberjacks. The plane crash killed her mother and everyone else on the plane, making her the only lucky survivor. Maarten de Jonge. Dutch champion cyclist Maarten de Jonge cheated death twice after changing flights from both Malaysia Airlines MH17 and MH370 at the very last moment. If you remember, one of the planes vanished from radar over the waters of the Indian Ocean last March, and the other was shot down in summer 2014. Reshma Begum. Reshma Begum worked as a seamstress in the 8-story Rana Plaza building. After the building collapsed, she miraculously survived but was trapped inside the wreckage. She happened to find some food and water that sustained her for an incredible 17 days until she was finally rescued. Franz Selak. Franz Selak, a Croatian music teacher, first tricked death when he survived an accident in which his train got off the track and fell into a lake. Then he survived a plane crash, as he fell out of the plane at just the right moment to land into a haystack, while 19 passengers of the same flight died. Not to mention numerous car accidents. After all this, his luck stayed with him, and he won almost $1 million after buying the first lottery ticket in his ridiculously lucky life.